This is Irontrader. Now the pits closed here about 20 minutes ago at 2:30. So we are going to review crude oil here and natural gas. At the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are posted. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy, sell a stock, commodity, ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have crude oil, your daily and your weekly chart. Now let's just take a look here at the weekly. Right now, crude oil here, real time, you're looking at 82.90. We really need to close above this here for the week, 82.34, and we need to close above 82.13. Very, very key levels here for the close, which would be Friday at the end of the day. Okay, so that way we can hold this key support level, because look how nice this is holding all the way up. If not, then you got a good shot here of coming pretty much right on down here to these levels here. This is 80.55 level here. Okay, so today we had a low here of 81.06. So we want to be right here. That would be your next kind of a level support. It doesn't have to get exactly right there. But again, that's what you're going to be next level here if it can close above the 8-day, and if it can't close above that 100 SMA here. And then, you always have this 50 SMA here sitting at 78.45, and then you have your 21-day. But that would kind of ruin that really nice bullish pattern that we have going on right here. Okay, so I pointed out earlier in the week that this was a possible bull flag, but then when we got this big ass red candle here the last couple of days, boom, that negated that. Once we close above that bottom, that was all done on that. Okay, so just kind of watch this 100-day and that 8-day SMA here by the close of tomorrow's trade. Now, your MACD is still looking good. Your green above your red. Your RSI here kind of rolling over, obviously, because it's got the big ass red candle. But again, we got to just see how this is all going to shake out here by the end of the day tomorrow. Okay, so let's just take a look here on your daily chart. Okay, this daily chart here pretty much tells it all. We had a nice good run up, but this was here on all that the war, okay, where Iran was going to attack Israel, then it was going to do over the weekend, and it was going to do last Saturday, then it was going to do this and do this. And well, anyway, they ended up firing 300 missiles, but actually 99% of that got shot down and really wasn't a whole lot of damage, okay? So that was very, very the key, okay? Now, again, there hasn't been any retaliation here. So, again, we're dealing with the Middle East, so you just never know what's going to happen. Okay, and what you don't want is any kind of a crude oil disruption. Okay, if the oil facility is targeted or refiners or whatever, if that's all targeted, that's one thing that what you don't, you don't want here if you're trading crude oil, because crude oil will rip much higher like ASAP. Okay, so we just want a little calmness in the market. So this is pretty much what you got, and it just went sided. And then yesterday we had that big ass red candle when everybody found out that there wasn't any retaliation as of yet. Okay, now today, but yesterday, once the futures, I should say, opened up, when it put in a lower low, that told me to stay short. Okay, so I was in the SCO there, and I sold it out here today at in the pre-market actually at 15.95. Very, very good. Now I had two really nice scalps here in the UCO, okay, which is more of a leverage fund. And the first time I got 60 cents, I bought it in pre-market and then sold it at the 33.68, and I was in there at 33.08. I posted that on my video here first thing in the morning. I didn't get the high of 33.78, but I was happy with that 60 cents. And then it came all the way down here. Then I bought it again at 33.05, and then I got stopped out at 33.60. So that was a good day here overall. Okay, so you had $1.15, $1.15 on that and 5,000 shares. So that was actually a good day here in the trading on the crude. Now what you want to watch is you want to watch the high, the low, and the closing on this when the futures open at 6 o'clock. Okay, so that's going to be key. On the downside here, you want to hold that key 81.06. If you don't, then you're going to come right here to this 50-day at 80.76. If that's lost, you can look at that price channel. That's 80.30, and then you've got your 79.73 right below all that here. Now, again, this 200-day is very, very strong. You can see here how it all holds up here very nice here on a closing basis. That's the key. Same way you see when you look at here on a closing basis for the week. Now, it spiked down, Yeah, it did, but you notice where it closed, very, very strong support here now, okay? On your 200-day, same way here on your daily chart, okay? But we're going to be watching that 50-day very, very close. But first of all, is that today's low at 81.06. Very, very key. Then 80.76. And then we're going to go through a price channel here at 80.30. Okay, that's what we're going to be looking at. Very, very key right there. That is your candle that came across. See how we were trading these boxes here? Nice. And now we're trading this box here. This was very, very nice. And then we were trading this upper box, which was holding very, very nice. You take that 84.49 until yesterday, where she cracked right through that and right through that 21 and then all the way down lower. And then today here, we have like a big indecision candle, but we have a bottoming tail, okay, situation. So watch that high and that low when the futures open at 6, going to be very, very critical. Now, here on the upside, well, what we always want to do is want to watch yesterday's low. That's 82.55, and then obviously today's high. That's 82.84. Next resistance level here is going to be right there. It's going to be 83.12. Always look to the left of the chart, and then we're going to look here at 83.21. And then again, if it keeps on running, then we look to the bottom of that candle, 85.50, and then you want to look at your 21 day there at 84.05. And then right above it is your 8-day at 84.84. Now, this is what I don't like. See how this 8-day is rolling over? Now, when those futures open, this 8-day is going to be lower. They might even be touching here. So once that crosses over that 21-day, then even if the price goes on up here, it's going to be fighting it the whole way, okay? Just like when we look at, okay, say this is a good example where you're right into it. See how you're right into it? And you just can't get it. Before you know it, you can blow up there. But again, you're fighting that the whole way. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean that you can't just crack through it, just like we did here. Okay, so here we had a very, very similar situation. We ran all the way up, and then we came down, and we lost the 8-day, lost the 21-day, even lost that 50-day, and look where she was, no man's land. But then she started rallying. But see this candle? This is a bottoming tail candle, just like here, okay? There's many names for it, but not just a bottoming tail right there, okay? So that's what you wanted to see, and then she rallied up here. And then when she cracked right on up here above, that 8-day curled right back on here. So that just might be what happens here again. We're not really quite sure, but we got to see. But that's why we just take one level at a time, and that's why you want to trade the charts. But what you wanted to always look at first is, even like when it cracked down here, okay? So you made that like a red dog candle, bottoming candle. Okay, it rallied up, but where'd that candle go? See, it went right into that 21-day, and then it stopped. And then it took the next day here for it to blast up. So that's going to become resistance. So now, if you do take the trade, look at selling it right there when you get right into that 84.05, or sell half of it, or whatever you want to do, okay? That's always what I do. So if I take the trade here, even at 6 p.m., and I say, okay, this is holding pretty good, when that rallies up here and goes into that 21-day, I'll either take the whole trade off, half the trade. I got to see how the charts look. But a lot of times I'll just take it right on up. I can always buy it up again. Not a problem. But if when that 8-day rolls over, and it'll just knock that price right on down, just like what you had here, okay? So when that rolls over, and then you'll start losing those key simple moving averages, then, as I say, then you're fighting that whole thing all the way on up here. But once it gets above, see, then when you get above that, then it stays up very nicely, just like this here. Okay, very, very nice. But we got to see how this is all, going to shake out. Now, one thing also you have to look at here is when the price starts getting away from the 8-day, it wants to come back in. Okay, see, so it ran up here, then it wants to come back in. Ran down there, wants to come back in. See, same way with here, come on down. Up here, wants to get back. Up here, gets it back. So this price wants to go back up there. The key is that 8-day rolls over here, you're going to be fighting it all over down until we can curl that right back up again. You'd never want to see the 8-day cross over that 21-day. That's always a bearish sign. Now, your RSI here, well, that's not looking at nothing to write home about. Your green below your red, that shows momentum, but that's at the downside. You always want to have your green above, you know what I'm saying? Then you show a nice positive. But right now, this is what we got. This is what we have to deal with here. So just watch the futures here. Watch that high, the low, the close. If it goes lower, watch the 50. Watch this price channel, and then watch that 79.73. On the upside, watch yesterday's low, today's high, and basically that 21-day 804.05. And then let's see where that 8 SMA is as the futures open up. Okay, let's take a look here at natty gas. Okay, natural gas. Now I did scalp that UNG there today, and that was actually, I had 2 good scalps in that, so that was an okay trade. Okay, but again, okay, so it rallied up here. You got as high as 1.78. But, if you watch my videos this morning at midday trading, what you got to watch out for is right here, 1.76. See this? 1.76. See this? 1.76. Yeah, you broke above it. You got as high as 1.78, but where did it close at? Okay, not 1.76. It's sitting at 1.73, right below all this. Now, again, when we have that contract roll, it's going to pop up. There's no question about it. It'll pop up and probably be above that. Now, again, as I pointed out here in the midday trading, UNG, Boyle, Cold, they're not going to pop up. These ETFs are not going to pop up or pop down. They're just going to be sideways action. Okay, so just remember that. It's just the futures here that pop up, but not the ETFs. The ETFs are a trading vehicle. You just want to buy them, scalp them, just like I did today in UNG. I got a nice 20 cents out of that. Very, very happy with that, trading 5,000 shares. Okay, so when you add that up, you add the crude up there. I had a nice good long position in NVIDIA and in Meta. I scalped a little bit of TQQ. So overall, it was a really good day. It's just that today was kind of day that you really had to work for, especially in natty gas. I don't know what the hell's up with this thing. I wish it would just either blast up or blast down, one or the other. Anyway, the chart doesn't look too bad because you got a low, higher low, higher low, and we have a higher low. So we got to see where it shakes out tomorrow. But you really have to get above this 1.76. If you can, then you have right there 1.8. We have 1.85. You have 1.89, 1.92, and there's your retest of 1.943. Again, above 1.95, 1.98, and then that's what you're looking for right there is that 2.0. That would be the same as this candle right here. Okay. Now, again, if you can get above all that, you got a nice target here of 2.168 and your 100-day at 2.17. Very, very nice. Okay. Now, another thing is, too, if this happens to break up, and eventually it's going to break out of this channel. Okay. So always watch that. It's going to break out of the channel. This is what you're looking for. That's at 2.168. There's your gap. And then look at the bottom of that candle, 2.42. There's your fill. So you got a gap in the fill. So eventually those are going to be your targets. The key right now is just sideways action. Now they're expecting a build of 49 BCF on natural gas. It came in at 50 BCF, but this time of the year, what you need to do is once you start getting if you get a real hot summer, the power plants will be using a lot of natty gas. That's when the price will rise, or any kind of a disruption, okay, like hurricane season. That's really bullish for natural gas and for crude oil. It's terrible for people, but if you're trading oil or natural gas, any kind of disruption like that always rocks it higher. Okay, so RSI here still looking okay. This here doesn't really know what it wants to do. It just kind of blah, 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 all the way through. This here, as they're just kissing, they're not really, hasn't gone above. So again, by Friday, you want to make sure that we're above that 1.75. That is going to be the key, or whatever that 8-day is at the time. Right now, we're just a bit below it because you can see when the red candles hit, she just stays real low. Now, when they're green, then we had a nice series of higher highs and higher lows. That's what you want on a chart if you're bullish. Now, again, for me, a guy like me, I trade both directions here. But like in a KOLD, there just wasn't enough action to go like on a downside. Didn't have really that much movement today. So what we had, you had a high of 1.78 and a low of 1.71. There wasn't that much action, but it was enough to get 20 cents out of the UNG, which was good. So now watch the futures at 6 p.m. and see where we go. But again, remember that contract roll is going to be Sunday night. Okay, let's take a look here on the hourly and the 4 hour. Okay, here we have your hourly and your 4 hour chart. Now, again, we just stair-stepped all the way to the bottom. It couldn't hold this area here. Came right down. It didn't know what it was going to do sideways. But however, it's put in a low here, 1.68. But what I like about this, you put in a higher low. I always like that. That always tells you that's a double bottom, especially when you put in that higher low. That means she's going to go higher. But look where she went. See, this is where I trade the charts. Look where it goes. Okay, so you know that. So when this rallies up here, you know that's where it's going to go. That's going to be your target. It's not going to get through there the first time. Okay, especially them 200-day simple moving gap. And if you look at that daily chart where you got the 8-day, the 50-day, and the 21-day all sitting at 1.76, it's not going to get through there. So watch that 1.76, 1.7 area. You really got to get through there before you can hit here on your 1.8. Now, again, if we can close above the 1.8, then we can just rock it all the way up here, higher here. We're going to go all the way to that 1.94 very, very easily. But again, there's a lot of resistance. So when you look here at this 4 hour chart, this sold off here, and then we held this nice gap right there, 1.649. I pointed that gap out, and we went right to the gap, 1.649. So nice. Again, if that's lost, you got 1.60, and then we have that 1.589 on the bottom. But you got that nice double bottom situation, okay, just like that. And then what we're doing is, but see, right into that resistance area. See, that 1.76 to 1.78. You got to clear that. Once you can, then you can rock it higher because then you have that nice target at 1.8. Then we just bring this bad boy right over here. Look at there. See? Very, very nice 1.89. And then we just bring it right over. And then you got 1.92. And then we can rocket this all the way up here if we can rocket it back up here. The key is here is this all this resistance if it's going higher. Okay, now again, if you start losing all this area here and you start losing that 1.64, well, then that's when you want to jump right into that KOLD, the short ski, and then you come all the way down here, 160 and then 1.58. So always make natural gas here a two-way trade. Same way with crude oil. It's a two-way trade. It's not say, oh, I got to go long here, I got to go long here. Well, yes and no. Okay, so you just, right now it's a scalper's market here because when you look at these charts here, unless you can get through that 1.6 to 1.78, it's just going to go sideways to down. Okay, so if you know that, well, you can say you can always make money here on the downside. Okay, so look at it always as a two-way trade. All right, that's what I got for you on your crude ski and natty gas. I'll be back tomorrow morning before 8 o'clock, and we're going to do it all over again. All right, thanks for watching.